Hello everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. We're playing a Gargoyle Wanderer of Lugonu. We wrapped up Vaults 1 and gave up on Elf 1 in the last episode, so now we're going to head down to the next floor, which is called Vaults 2. I had a little trouble remembering where we were going next. Alright, this is a great little natural kill hole here. I love whoever built this vault. It's just like we can just chew through a million monsters here this way, I think. And the Lamp of Fire is recharged already. That's nice. You know what? I wonder... Let's try putting on the protection from cold instead of protection from magic. And then look up Vault Sentinel. 10% chance to mark me. You know what? I'd rather it were 0. We'll leave the protection from cold at just 1 pip of cold resistance, that is. Okay, is there like goodies in here or what? No, just monsters, and we killed them all. It's Asterion! I don't know why, but for some reason I thought he wasn't an H. Like, he obviously is and should be. He's a Minotaur, right? But, yeah, okay. Not so easy to banish him either. Let's back up so he can't get... Oh, he doesn't have Spectral Weapon anymore. That's right. He has Greater Servant of Mokleb. So we'll just back up so that he doesn't get... And he can see invisible as well, right? Yeah. So he doesn't get help from his demons. Do I need to quaff anything here? Probably not. Berserk might be a good idea. Just to... because there aren't a lot of situations where we can productively use Berserk anymore. And this is probably one of them. You know, the scope for danger here is pretty low. That is to say, tabbing Asterion is kind of dangerous, which justifies using a consumable of some sort. But the scope of the fight is well defined, right? We don't need to worry about more monsters piling in and Berserk running out at an inopportune time. I think I can go ahead and quaff Berserk here. Yeah, alright, we got him. No problem. So there's a Demon Blade of Draining, which is like not that useful because we're not skilled for it, but some Scale Mail could be good. So let's see. Right now we're at 39-10 on defenses. This puts us at 36-11, which is substantially worse, and gives us a resist we care less about, so forget it. But worth trying out. Whoa. I'm not so happy about all that. What is all this? Aha! This... Oops. I didn't mean to open the door. Alright, we're just going to tab it all, I guess. Uh-huh. Okay, maybe not the best plan I've ever had in my life. I meant to, like, look at the door and just... I meant to hit X and then, like, navigate over to the door like this and then consider excluding it or something, but instead I opened it. Very funny. Okay. There's a lot of stuff here. Comparatively nasty stuff. Tengu Reaver has a battle axe, okay. I don't like getting surrounded by those Sentinel here. So let's back up like so. I could go invisible. But I think most of this sea is invisible anyway. Okay, yeah, I mean, most of this stuff is fine. I don't like the Rakshasa very much. Did it blink? Is it the one up here? I think so. Ow. Ah, we got him. We could banish the Vault Warden, but I don't think we really need to. I'm a little more worried about what's behind him. Okay, it was a Convoker. Fine. Okay, this is going fine. Let's walk away now, though. Ah! So there's still a couple monsters up in there. And over to the east, the door has been opened. So let's rest. Alright, Yaktar Captain. Alright, we should be able to finish this off now. Yeah. A wand of digging, did you say? A wand of digging? You shouldn't have. Not going to help much in vaults, of course, but I'll be happy to have it in Elf. It's not as flexible as a wand of disintegration in terms of like manipulating the terrain, but it's much better than having neither. And of course, it does help in situations where it's... What was this? I got cold resistance and I lost evolution. Okay, fine. Well, that's nice, I guess. Anyway, like when you want to dig, like on the Orb Run, for example, a long, narrow corridor, or like if you just want to like cheese an area by digging out around a series of dangerous enemies towards whatever your goal is, like if it's stealing a rune or something. Although you usually can't dig out a rune vault, I suppose. Anyway, there are situations where digging is better than disintegration, but most of the time I would rather have disintegration if I had to pick. But since I didn't get to pick, I'm happy to have gotten this wand of digging. Much better than not having a wand of digging. Wand of orcs I'm not too concerned about. What went up? Dodging. Okay. We do have a we do a pretty solid amount of damage. Like, we can kill monsters often relatively quickly with this +9 Great Mace. Which, I mean, that's what two-handed weapons are for, killing things quickly. Let's look around here. I guess that's not going to help. They're just going to open another door. Alright, I take it back. I'm coming up this way. Deep Elf Archers are the devil. I hate them. I wish Grunt had never been born. It's his punishment for adding them, is that we're no longer friends. I don't know. I think that it's clearly better than the way things were before, where like there was like a huge variety of different kinds of elf monsters who were all really just like various flavors of mage, and then there were like deep elf fighters who were sort of squishy, uninteresting melee dudes with bad spells. Recognizing that the monsters who were all basically the same should now be called mages, and the monsters who were different should actually be different, I think was clearly an improvement. But it does mean there are monsters that I don't like fighting, whereas before it was all basically the same. I didn't care about any of the elves. Whoa! Where did all these guys come from? Was there an Iron Troll? I thought I maybe saw an Iron Troll, but I think I was imagining it. Let's get out of here. Try to avoid getting double teamed here. Yeah. Good blink. So anyway, I complain that I hate Deep Elf archers. But really what I mean is that my character hates Deep Elf archers. As a player, I kind of hate them too. But as a developer, I think they're a good monster. I guess I could chop this up and yeah, all right, another Fire Dragon hide. If we need to make 2 Fire Dragon armors, we got it. Of course, we won't need to make 2. But it'll be a sort of trophy, I suppose. Let's try to fight them in the open, not in this corridor. It's fine if I'm in the corridor, but you don't want them in the corridor, I guess, is what I mean. Are you about done with vaults too? Not really. Jeez. Vault has a lot of monsters, huh? All those ogres who just, I don't know, are not relevant at all, really. It would be nice if irrelevant monsters like that didn't exist. But, I don't know. Somebody said at some point, I'm not sure who it was probably mid-May or something, that vaults and depths are full of like ogre packs, which the only monsters in them that are relevant is the ogre mages, and even then not terribly, and all the other stuff is just there like for fun. It doesn't do anything. Seems about right to me. I don't know. We kind of need some amount of, do we? I don't know. Some amount of like popcorn monsters who are not relevant, because otherwise like every fight is a fight to the death, and I don't know. It's kind of nice to have your character be like, yeah, all this stuff that used to be dangerous, I can just tab it. Woo! I don't know. I'm not much of a game designer. I try to fix bugs. When there's something that really surprises me as a player, I try to track down whether it should be changed and change it. But in terms of like design things, I don't know. I don't think I want to rebrand my Great Mace. And if I do want a secondary weapon, I'll brand it with Distortion. So I think we'll just not pick up a brand weapon anymore. Does your Limnul hate me? I think so, right? Yeah. Your Limnul hates me because I'm not alive or dead as a gargoyle. Just thought I would pray there to piss her off. Him, her, I don't even know. Piss off your Limnul. It's kind of an interesting exercise to like avoid using pronouns as much as possible to ensure that you don't accidentally give the gods a gender or whatever. It turns out to be useful also not just for crawl. Ring of Stealth. Look at that. We're still not stealthy at all. It turns out to be useful like on the internet in general. If you can phrase, like if you're talking about somebody that you don't know, it's better if you can manage it to avoid using a pronoun, because those are gendered and like you don't necessarily want to what is the word that I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of like a not impugn. It's almost like imbue. I don't think I mean imply. Impute? Is that a word? Let me look that up. Maybe I'm thinking of the word impute. Impute. Represent as being done, caused, or possessed by someone. Attribute. Yeah. You don't want to impute a gender on somebody when you might be wrong, because that tends to be an offensive thing, and it leads to like the stereotype of like women aren't welcome on the internet because everybody just calls everybody he, and like if I don't know, and the internet is in a lot of ways not super welcoming to women, and so if you can fix that a little bit by like being more careful with how you use pronouns, it's nice to do so. Impute, good word. So for crawl, you use it because the gods actually don't have genders, but it helps a bit in IRC when someone's asking a question. And that's the nice thing, is you can use people's names in IRC. They have names, and it's a good way to make clear that you're talking about them too. I don't know. Anyway, there you go. Little just like what is going on in my head every day, I guess. I don't like all these Yaktar captains. Let me get back to better terrain. Like here would be okay. This is centaur fighting territory. In the sense that it's like a corner that you can lure monsters around. Flayed Ghost. I don't actually know. Can they affect gargoyles? Or is it like a torment thing? Do gargoyles resist it in the same way that they resist torment? Or is it a different thing? I don't really know. I'm not very happy with the Dex -4 mutation, but I don't... What is all this? Slime creatures again. But I don't want to cure out of my Dex -4 because the rest of the stuff I have is pretty okay. Isn't it? The antennae is nice, the resists are nice, the blink doesn't really matter. And the Dex -4 doesn't matter very much. It's taking away a couple evasion, basically. Not such a big deal, really. Is there any chunks up here? Yeah. How are we doing on exploring? Going pretty well. We're more than halfway done with Vaults 3. Okay, yeah, you guys are gonna have to come up here to fight me. Oh no, there's a wall. Okay. Yeah, down here. All right, let's back up and get back into this area, which is just a great place to fight. And we'll even shout to lure them up here. That one can't figure out how to get here, I guess. Ironheart Preserver Simulacrum. Interesting. It used to be, of course, that would be a human simulacrum. It never even occurred to me that they were actually simulacra of the particular humans that live in vaults. Alright. Just tab ought to be okay. Yeah. Anything we want to identify? No, not really. Skill training still looking okay? Yeah. Learning like some charms or inner magic for repel missiles would be nice, but I don't think it's time yet. Learning some more evocations, probably a good idea actually. Let's turn on evocations and try to remember that like next time one of our skills hits an even number, it would be nice to turn it off. Because I don't really want to have my skill training spread even as thin as it is now. But I think it's more important to remember to turn on evocations than it is to remember to turn off the other stuff. So I did that first. Who's left in here? Alright, I'll just eat the meat that's on the ground, whatever. I'm sure it was sanitary. More sanitary than what this character usually eats anyway. It's just like ground up bloody centaur. Gross. Apologies to any centaurs watching this. Okay, I guess we'll go fight this stuff. Death Knight? Yeah, Death Knight. I was like, what are all these freezing wraiths doing here? There must be a Death Knight. And orcs, again, don't really matter in here. An orc warlord would be perhaps a bit more of a threat. I'll let all these ogres just charge me rather than charging them so that I don't make quite so much noise over to the west there. Maybe I need to find a slightly more quiet place to rest. Like upstairs, huh? What about that? That's an idea. We cleared this place out. Alright, here we go. Here's a bunch of ogres. We can basically hold tab through all that, I think. Auto Explorer wants to examine all the giant clubs they dropped, of course. More slime creatures, not a fan. And the Deep Elf, of course. Alright. So many orcs on this floor for some reason. Way more than I usually would expect to see in vaults. I think they're like a fairly rare... More orcs! A fairly rare monster type in here, because by the time you get here, most kinds of orcs are just not that exciting. So I was fighting a Convoker, and I didn't realize it, and he summoned... I thought it was like a Preserver, and then I just tabbed him for a bit. Okay, so now we're next to Boris, and maybe we could tab him, maybe. But there's no real reason to take that risk, right? Let's just corrupt this place. This is easily the most dangerous thing that's going to happen to us on Vault 3, right? The only thing that's left is like this room over here, which must be the one that the Convoker pulled all these guys from. So we're basically done with the floor. So let's corrupt it. And okay, so we can't actually get out of the square that we're in. But thankfully, we have a natural blink as well as the one that is a Lugonu blink. And I'm going to use the natural one because it doesn't anger nearby monsters. And you know what, Boris? If you can take care of all these guys yourself, you deserve to live. Although I hope you don't. The Convoker buffed Boris, rather, I should say. That's exciting. Boris is just meleeing the heck out of these dudes. Don't you know you're a lich? Cast some spells. I'm actually going to stay here and watch. See how it goes. There goes the Convoker. Boris is still just lightly damaged. You'd think all these abyssal monsters would be a little bit more efficient. Now he's moderately damaged. Okay. Yeah, the orcs are going down like popcorn. There goes Boris, on the way down anyway, heavily damaged now. Yeah, he's almost dead. There he goes. He'll get us next time. Yeah, I believe it. I'm just going to come in here, shut the door, and rest. Wait for all those guys to disperse. This is the problem with antennae, is that when you rest, you keep getting notified that, like, there's monsters nearby. And it keeps interrupting the rest, and you have to, like, say, yes, I really want to rest. Yes, I really want to rest. Ooh. We probably don't want this, but it could be good. Like, if it were fire resistance. Yeah, that's an improvement. No, it's the same, actually. Right, it just moves one of our resists. Yeah, okay, whatever. Another scroll of brand weapon we don't want. And time for Vaults 4, I think. We're not like done with the episode, are we? Nah, it's been short. Oh, down we go. Come on in. By the way, I just got a notification from the crawl build server that my latest... Have I, like, not... Oh, there's a new Vault Warden. Jeez. Got a notification that my latest build, or my latest commit, broke things. Not really sure if that's actually true. The test setup is not very good, and so often stuff that is not relevant breaks. Often builds break for no reason at all. And then, like, if you rebuild them, they work. I don't know if this is the same, if this is that, or if something is really broken. Huh. Well, so it looks like something is actually breaking. Maybe in an old version of crawl, or old version of the compiler. I don't know. But, you know, the nice thing about the crawl system is that stuff that doesn't pass testing doesn't get deployed, so it won't go on the server. It's fine. Since the tests got it. What do we do about this? Do I corrupt this? It seems like a bit of an overreaction, but I'm not sure exactly what else I'm supposed to do. There's a bunch of, like, monsters I'm not very happy to be next to here. I could banish the Vault Warden and then walk away. That seems like an okay plan, actually. Got him. Give me some dex, please. And now hurrah, the door is open, and we can just get back into better terrain. We could also stair dance, but for the moment, they seem to be allowing me to use this as a corridor, so I guess I can just do this and guarantee that I have it as at most 2 monsters adjacent. Alright, that's not bad. Good use of 1 banish to defuse the somewhat dangerous situation. Didn't have to do something as drastic as a corrupt to get out of that. You know, it was maybe not the worst situation ever, but again, this is like what I was talking about a few episodes ago when we were in Spider, I guess. How, you know, there are 2 ways you can get better at the game. You can either recognize... You can learn to get out of bad situations, and you can learn to prevent bad situations. And there's a lot of overlap between those two, because like a situation that is about to become bad is probably not great right now. You know, it's like, I don't know. So I'm not sure whether what we just did there was get out of a bad situation or prevent one, really. Some of both, I suppose. It would have been a bad situation, I guess, if we'd been trapped in there. I guess in some sense, there's not... The distinction between a situation that is bad and one that will become bad is not as clear as I would first have thought. Because really, a situation that's about to become bad is one that's already bad. Right? Like, if it's guaranteed to become bad, then it is already bad, right? And just the sooner you can recognize that, the more options you have to get out of it. I guess there's some argument for like, well, what about situations that might become bad? That's, I guess, if you're in one of those, it's not necessarily bad, but it might be, and then like you can prevent it from turning nasty. And so maybe that's what we did with the banishing the warden. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Oh, enchant armor, huh? Thank you. Where is it? Up to the northeast, I guess. So, jeez, what are we going to drop for this? We have so much paralysis. Or so much Ice Blast, I should say. Let's drop that empty Ice Blast. So we could just enchant up our gloves right now, and that would be an improvement. Alternatively, we could make some Fire Dragon armor. I think it should be fire since we have natural cold resist, and then we'll just swap our rings, and we'll have basically we'll have 2 pips of fire and 1 pip of cold after all that swapping. Right? Yeah. Which would be nice. What is the base? The base on Fire Dragon armor... Oh, right. I don't even have to calculate the base. It'll tell us. 14. So an encumbrance of 11 and armor of 14, whereas what we're wearing now, chainmail, is encumbrance of 15 and armor of 14. So basically we would be gaining 4 encumbrance rating and keeping our armor the same. And actually we would be losing 2 armor because this one's enchanted. So that encumbrance rating would allow us to cast some spells more easily. Is it really just Fire Dragon armor? Yeah, base armor of 8. Yeah. So it actually doesn't seem like that big an upgrade. Our chainmail is like fine. What about plate? Hello? Wow, got stuck refreshing there. Let's search for plate. There's a shiny plate, huh? Let's go check that out. It could be pretty good, conceivably. Oh, Oh my gosh, drop anything. Man, why do we have all this junk? Drop my Wand of Random Effects and a spare Wand of Lightning. That'll do, I guess. Well, that's not any good. -2, no thanks. How much? Gives you, wow, substantially better armor or AC from it. Where's remove curse? It's on 4. I don't have to find it. It's on 4. Yeah. All right. Capital P. So, what if we were to wear, say, Shadow Dragon armor? It's the same encumbrance rating, but it gives us 4 more armor. So like Shadow Dragon armor, Gold Dragon armor, those would be Dragon armor. If we look at gold, 21 armor. So that would give us like a noticeable boost, but it would encumber us quite a bit, of course. I don't really know what armor I want this game. I think it might be Shadow Dragon armor. But, again, I don't necessarily want to wait until I find some to enchant it up. I don't want to hoard my scrolls. I guess here's the thing I can do. I can just use a Scroll of Enchant Armor now on my gloves. And that's clearly an improvement. Yes, capital C for gloves. I guess I should have checked. Are there any like ego gloves we should be wearing? No. Okay. But once it gets to the point where I have to either spend my scrolls on body armor or hoard them, I should probably get ready to commit to a dragon armor type. Hopefully by that time I'll have something I'm a little happier about wearing. Because I'm not too thrilled about fire or ice dragon armor, really. Boots. They're a little too out in the open for my tastes. When there was just one human, it looked fine, but now that there's a whole bunch of monsters, I really shouldn't be here. You stupid elf, would you get over here so I can kill you and get rid of all your dang summons, please? I don't know if it's you, but actually, I can check, can't I? He's not the one summoning all this stuff, but let's banish him anyway. It's starting to feel kind of laggy here. It's a bit irritating. Where is... It's not that one. This one. He's the one with the vermin. Right? Yeah. We could use a lamp of fire on him, actually. That would be kind of nice. Yeah, it missed completely, of course. It always does. Why is there purple smoke under this guy? What? I don't know. I would think that the flame cloud would override, because like the clouds have sort of a hierarchy, a power hierarchy to them. Okay, there go the vermin. That's nice. Like clouds of flame are more powerful than clouds of thin mist, and so if you use a lamp of fire and the area's already got thin mist, then like the thin mist gets out of the way, and the flame clouds override it. But if you use like flame clouds and there's freezing clouds already, like those two are the same strength, and so it doesn't override it. And so I sort of don't understand why just after using a lamp of fire, there was purple smoke there, because purple smoke is like basically just fog, and I thought that fog was a less powerful cloud than fire, but maybe it's not. I don't know. That would explain it, I guess. Certainly seems like it ought to be, but like I said, I'm not much of a game designer. Someone else, if that is the case, then somebody thought about it and decided that it. Don't shut the doors on me, buddy. Decided that it should be that way, and I think like I don't see any clear reason why they're wrong. It just like isn't what I expected. Are we about done with Vaults 4? No. Why is there a Titan in a completely closed box? Is there something that's gonna like open these and surprise me, or what? This is weird. Alright, let's try to use this corridor here to our best advantage while being stared at by Titans for some reason. I wonder if this is like a reference to something? I don't know. There's a vault, an entrance vault. That is, say, one that you get at the beginning of the game when you first enter the dungeon. That's kind of funny. What are... Oh, I don't need to pick up any more rings of protection from magic, please. Or cold or fire, really. Or magical power or ice. There's a vault that has... What would it be? Let's see. Like a giant... So, of course, a giant would be outrageous to have to fight at the beginning of the game. But it's behind, like, glass, so they can't fight you. Like a giant, a rat, probably an ant, a slug, and a, I don't know, wyvern? Something like that, anyway. Which, what does that group of monsters mean? Like, it doesn't, I don't see any common theme between them or anything, right? And a console player, or that is to say, to a tiles player, indeed, there is nothing similar. But it doesn't make any sense. But if you happen to be playing console and you see this vault, and you read it from left to right, a giant is a capital C, and a rat is a lowercase r, and an ant is a lowercase a slug is a lowercase w, and wyverns are on lowercase l. So it spells crawl. Very funny. I don't know. It's kind of a silly vault, but it's sort of harmless to leave in, I think. And cute if you happen to notice what's going on. Yes, keep eating. Yes, yes. I had to hit yes twice there. Don't know why. All right, we're done with Vaults 4, which means we are done with Vaults. Let's head back to the dungeon, and we'll be about ready to call it a day. After this, maybe a triumphant return to Elf, or maybe get started on Depths. What went up? Evocations. Okay. Aha! Armor is at level 18. I can turn it off. Very good. Fighting and dodging, I guess I'll leave on for the moment. Anyway, a silly little vault that's cute. Man, getting out of vaults, there's more monsters than I expected. We cleared this place out. I know we did. And there's just more monsters, I guess. Okay, now we're back out of dungeon, so we are done. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.